fix this. What's good, man? There is all kinds of talks going on. You know about who, you know what it do, you know who we're talking about. We've been talking about it for months. A lot of people, they don't want to acknowledge the fact or just come out and say that, you know, sometimes when it's time. Oh shit, what happened? Hold on, give me a second. I don't know what's going on over here. What's my background, G? Let's go with that. Man, so what's good? What's good? How's everybody doing? Been a couple days. We got lots to talk about. Maxx Crosby news, man. You know how it is. Is he staying? Is he going? Does he want to be here? Does he not want to be here? Right? Why hasn't he come out and said it? We hear all the talks, but it's gotten to the point that I feel of no return. The media, the fans, the disloyalty, right? Some people want him to stay. Some people just really don't care. A lot of people, just want this to be over with and done with. Some people just want to rebuild, right? There was a famous quote from John Gruden when we traded Khalil Mack. People were pissed. They were like, man, you traded Khalil Mack. And John Gruden said, we weren't winning with him, right? You weren't winning with him. Sometimes you have to, rip the Band-Aid off. Sometimes you have to pull the plug. And sometimes it just comes to the point where you got to do what you got to do, man. And, I'm sure he wants to be a Raider. He's said that a million times. But there's shit going on in the locker room and that Brady effect. We've talked about the Brady effect many times on this channel. Some people think it's a good thing. Others think it's not such a good thing, right? And then you have Alex Guerrero, who we've talked about on this channel. I got a lot of criticism, a lot of comments, some emails saying, you're just trying to get clicks. You're just trying to do this shit, man. If you thought I was cared about clicks, I would be on here every day, 3 times a day with, 10 different people. It's not about clicks, bro. I don't give a shit about the clicks. It's about this right here. It's always been about this right here. It's the only reason why I do this. So when it comes to that, Maxx Crosby's in the conversation, right? And it's not whether, you're a loyal fan. What's good? Appreciate everybody in the chat. It's not whether you're a loyal fan, whether you're not a loyal fan. Sometimes it just gets to the point where, shit's got to go. But let's start from the beginning. Let's start from the very beginning. Alex Guerrero and Tom Brady. I don't know how old, most of the people in here are, but I think most of the people are old enough to remember when Tom Brady played in New England, right? There was talks of this same shit going on in New England with Alex Guerrero. Bill Belichick felt like Alex Guerrero being in the building was, something that, had to do with Tom Brady trying to make his mark on the team, which the dude won 6 championships. I mean, he should have say or what's going on. But there was talks about that, right? It was in the news. It was brought up. There was reports about, Alex Guerrero being in the building in New England, and there was problems there. And I've said it since day one when he was hired. I said, man, Alex Guerrero, personal trainer, personal fitness, whatever his title and label is, come on, bro. It's eyes and ears for Tom Brady. And I said this day one without any sources, without any reports, not listening to nobody, just common sense, dude. It's common sense. History repeats itself. And why would you have this dude in the building if he's your personal trainer? I mean, personal train you. There's already trainers in the building for the Las Vegas Raiders. And there has been reports that not just Maxx Crosby, but there's other big people that have said, other agents that have said that, not everybody's happy with Alex Guerrero. Some people feel like he just rubs people the wrong way. And I don't mean, massaging their legs or their arms or whatever he does as a, trainer or whatever, but just rubbing people the wrong way, right? So it's not a good fit. And my take is, we know how the Raiders do players. We know how they did Josh Jacobs. We know how they did Robert Spillane. We know how they did Nate Hobbs. We know how they do a lot of Raiders. Max Crosby is not above the shield, right? And if there's problems with the minority owner, do you think it's going to be Tom Brady that leaves or Max Crosby that leaves? My honest opinion, it's going to be the dude that has money invested in it. He's the owner, minority owner. Whether it's this big or this big, he's still minority owner. And I said this before, just my opinion, just my take on it is Max Crosby's got to feel like he got smacked in the face. I mean, honestly, you're buddy buddy with Mark Davis. You know, you've seen the same thing go on with Derek Carr. How come nobody's talking about this? Wasn't it 2 games left? They sat down Derek Carr. They told him to stay home. Didn't Max Crosby stay home those last 2 games? Was he on the field? I'm just saying. If you're Max Crosby, you've seen how they did your boys. You've seen how they did Devontae Adams. You've seen how they've done everybody. Why are you any different, right? So you got to start to open your eyes and realize that, man, this is a business. This is a business. It's not about the fans. It's not about your relationship with the fans or your relationship with the state of, the city of Las Vegas, the state of Nevada, right? It's not about any of that. It's about what's best for the Las Vegas Raiders going forward. And when you have situations in the building, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, when you have these dudes that, at least they said, well, one of them said he didn't want to be here no more. Jacoby Myers manned up. He was like, nope, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to be here. What was that reason? Was it Tom Brady? Was it Spytech, right? There's some reason that Jacoby Myers said, I'm done with this and I want out. I don't think it was all about money. So we've talked about the people in the building. We've talked about, and yes, I'm live on my phone and also on the computer. So if you want to hop over to the computer, we're going to do a mock draft a little bit and pull some stuff up to talk about that I can't do on the phone. So shout out to everybody on both sides. I know my head's going to be doing this for the next 20, 30 hour, whatever. But how do y'all feel, man? How do y'all feel? Would you be happy if they got rid of Max Crosby? Of course, you're going to, dude, he's been here 8 years. How could you not, be sad and be pissed off and disappointed that the Raiders couldn't make it work with one of the greatest defensive ends of all time? I mean, his athleticism, his motor. You see the dude, somebody put out a clip of him in practice being a running back, being a tight end, catching balls with one hand in the back of the end zone. I mean, this is an athletic freak of a nature, and you don't let guys like that just walk out of your building. But when you slap dudes in the face and tell them they're going to sit down when all they care about is football and they were injured all year long and you had no problem playing them then, but now with 2 games left to go and the number 1 pick on the line, you decide to sit your number 1 player, right? And I feel like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I reported that as soon as it happened. I was like, this is not good. This is not going to end good. There's no way it can. We know the competitive nature of Max Crosby. We know, besides his family, his biggest love is football. That's what he sleeps, eats, and breathes is football, right? So when you get to those points, man, it's, sometimes it's just better to cut your losses, cut your ties, and it's not really a loss. I mean, we drafted Max Crosby in the 4th round. They're talking about 2 first-round picks, and we'll get to the price, right? Is it a price that's saying, hey, we're willing to come get Max Crosby, or is it a price that's saying Max ain't going nowhere, right? We'll break down that. We'll get that down in a minute. Well, shout out to everybody in the building. We get to the chat. Jason Ruiz, what it do? Jack Gustavo was good, my guy. Jeffrey, appreciate you. Who's on the other side? What we got over here? Greg Brewer in the building. I don't know what the hell that says. What's up, dog? Vincent, what's good? August, appreciate you. Raiders in the NFL, the team that lost. Here we go with the San Francisco 49ers again. Come on, my bro. California sucks ass. I mean, to live in, to live there, bro. Like, absolutely. I agree 100% on that. But, yeah, man, so what are y'all feeling? What are y'all takes? I firmly believe Man, I hope and pray this season is better. Rick Whitson, my God, what's good? It's been a long time. How you doing, my brother? I was gonna try to find a way to get a hold of you, make sure you was still breathing and alive. Haven't seen you in a minute. It's gonna get better, man. It's gonna get better. Look, we're gonna do a mock draft. We're gonna do a little mock draft of a possible Maxx Crosby trade, which I've already done. I was, maybe one of the first ones to do that crazy mock draft because the writing has been on the wall, man. It's just been on the wall. Max hasn't been the same since he was benched. His interviews aren't the same. He's been asked the question 100 times, "Are you a Raider for life still?" No reply. No reply. So there's a reason for that, and I feel like that reason is Tom Brady and Guerrero. And like I said, when Derek Carr was sat down for the last two games of the season, go back and check my videos. I told y'all then, this wasn't all Josh McDaniels. This wasn't Josh McDaniels. This was Tom Brady that was in Mark Davis's ear, that was not minority owner at the time. He was still trying to be minority owner, but he was still the guy that was in Mark Davis's ear constantly. And I feel like he had something to do with the Derek Carr, just being released. They're like, just release him. Like, don't even try to trade him. He was not happy with Derek Carr. I've mentioned this before. You heard Tom Brady on a podcast was like, bro, they turned me down. The Raiders turned me down for this fucking guy, Derek Carr. Like, so, it's the writing's on the wall, bro. As many people want to jump on the Brady bandwagon and be like, "Oh, Brady's the GOAT. He has 7 Super Bowl rings." And yeah, whatever, dude. Whatever. There's other reasons why this dude is involved with the Las Vegas Raiders. And we can see by the people that have left the building since he's been here. It's a new day, man. It's a new era. It's the Tom Brady effect. Whether it's good or bad, was he the one that got Kubiak in? I don't think so. I think that was the spy tech effect, right? And I just hope, for the Raiders' sake, for the fans' sake, for the players' sake, that Tom Brady finds some way to just do his Fox job and be there to answer the phone when somebody needs you, right? When somebody needs you, answer the phone. When they got a question, when somebody's, maybe somebody wants to be traded, right? Because he said, Mark Davis has said Spytek and Brady are going to do this together. This is Spytek's gig. And, Brady's going to be there to help him out and along the way, right? Those were his words. Help him out along the way. So for all the people that think, Brady doesn't have a hand in it, you're crazy. And for all the people that think Brady's going to come in and mentor Mendoza and turn this dude into the greatest super, quarterback, super franchise guy of all times, you're crazy. None of this is happening, bro. None of this is happening. Faded Raider, what's up? Shout out to you in the building. As far as Max goes, I want it to be over either way. At this point, I don't really get emotional for any players. When I was 8 years old, I cried when they traded my guy Kenny Stabler. Never again. Shout out to my guy, bro. Shout out to my guy. Well, there's been a lot of players that I hated to see go, man. I lost my mind when they let Marcus Allen go to the rival Queefs. I was livid. Dude, I think he even got in a couple fights that day just because I was pissed and just mad dogging people trying to start shit. But when Charles Woodson walked in free agency, I thought Al Davis bumped his head. I was like, bro, what message did they say? What? So the Raiders have sent a very, very clear message, right? 2 first rounds and a player. They're not backing down from that. Is that absurd? Or is it just them saying, look, we know it's crazy. We know it's overpriced, but we don't want to trade Maxx Crosby. And we know Spytek doesn't, right? We know damn well Clint Kubiak doesn't want to lose a player like Maxx Crosby in his first year as a head coach in the NFL. That's not what he wants to do. So I feel like Raider Nation, Jason, what's good? What's good? How you been, man? How's the baby? How's the family? I don't know why this one looks like shit, bro. This background is trash. Hold up. Let me try this again. Let me do this. Boom. Can't wait till that shirt gets here. It's gonna be here. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. So, yeah, man, it seems like my birthday used to be a great time, right? It's in 2 days, Friday, if anybody cares. 51. Yeah, I know I don't look it. I'm just playing. But Friday is my birthday, and I hate this time of year, man. I hate this time of year. It's free agency. The day after my birthday, we traded a third round pick for Geno Smith last year. It was very, very bad. It was not a great birthday. I was not happy at all whatsoever. Been good. Baby is 6 months now. Damn, she's starting to move around, crawl. Get her little scoot on. That's awesome. That's awesome. The hardest job you'll ever love is being a father. It's being a father. Um, but yeah, man, shout out to baby girl. Glad she's good. Glad she's good. I think that fixed the background. Nice. Cool. So yeah, man. Like I said, I hope they don't do something crazy on Friday. You know, there's been lots of reports that came out. Albert Breer came out and said he believes that if something is to happen with Maxx Crosby, it is to happen by the end of this week, which is right around my birthday. So shout out to Albert Breer for making Friday be miserable as hell if that happens. I'm holding you accountable. And yep, Scoop Monster. I figured about that time you trying to figure out how to get the hands to move and the legs to move at the same time. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Um, so yeah, hey, appreciate you, Raider Paul in the building. So yeah, hopefully it won't be a historical birthday to remember with Maxx Crosby being gone, but it doesn't sound like there's any way to fix this. Now, there has been reports that I heard that have said Maxx Crosby is willing to play for the Raiders. He loves the Raiders. He doesn't mind being a Raider. He just has problems with certain people in the building, supposedly, right? Supposedly. And he said the rumors are is, you know, of course, he's under contract, so you're going to play for the Raiders. He's Maxx Crosby. He loves football. He's going to go out and give it all, his all. It's not like he's going to go out and half step. So I thought those reports were good. But where this gets muddy, and where this I felt got really, really muddy, is one of the most famous person when it comes to the draft, when it comes to ESPN, Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen had to say today, reading reports from his phone, from a text that he got, that said, Crosby is an animal. Crosby is one of those dudes that obviously is a rebel, doesn't want to listen. There was reports that John Gruden told Maxx Crosby that if he hit the quarterback one more time, he was going to cut him. He was going to cut him. We've heard ample reports about Maxx Crosby hitting quarterbacks when he's not supposed to. He even says, shit, block me. If you don't want the quarterback to be hit, your job is to protect him, which I understand that. You're trying to make these offensive linemen protect their quarterback and do their job. I get that 100%. But when you're crushing dudes with a red shirt on in practice, come on, man. That's crazy. You're trying to injure your own quarterbacks. And the writer from the report, which I won't say his name, but go look it up. The writer from the report said, Do the Raiders have more to worry about if Maxx Crosby stays protecting the man in the red shirt during practice? So basically, this dude's insinuating that Maxx Crosby in practice would try to level Fernando Mendoza. One of the stupidest reports I've ever heard or seen, and I don't know why Rich Eisen brought it up, but it does ask a question why Rich Eisen is bringing this up and why they're bringing up reports about Maxx Crosby hitting quarterbacks late in practice, not caring about them having, the red shirt on. Why is all this coming out now? When I talked about this breaking months ago, and I said there's a reason that these reports came out when they did. There's a reason that Jay Glazer said it on one of the biggest stages, setting up for the combine, right? Setting up for all this stuff. There's a reason the Super Bowl, the biggest stage of them all, that it was announced then. It wasn't just because Jay Glazer was, 3 sheets to the wind and thought he would just say some shit on national television. No. This was all predetermined. This was all for a reason. And there is also another report. And this is just obvious, bro. This is obvious that, I feel like all these reports come out after a non-reporter reports them. I mean, I've said this shit, I guarantee you, before anybody was talking about it, but I told you months ago, that Maxx Crosby has a man crush on Caleb Williams. He mentions him all the time. He the whole entire playoffs, all he did was talk about how great this dude was. Then he has him on his show, and you can tell he was just blown away, right? He's even said, this dude is a leader. There's reports that came out after the rush. Maxx Crosby, Caleb Williams, Maxx Crosby and some boys, they all went bowling. And Caleb Williams bowled like a 260 consistently over and over again. And Maxx Crosby calls his agent, this is all rumors, right? Or reports. We report that Maxx Crosby called his agent and said, if I'm traded, it's got to be the Bears. It's got to be the Bears. They have a former Raiders coach over there, Dennis Allen, on the defensive side, right? Now, before we get carried away with Maxx Crosby going to the Bears, the little birdie in my ear said the Bears ain't giving up 2 first rounds and they're not giving up a player. There's been reports on X. John Leon, what's good? There's been reports on X. There's been reports all over. And I'll get to the comments in a bit. I forgot what I was going to say saying that. But there's been numerous reports saying that Maxx Crosby's agents are doing everything they can to try to get him out of Vegas. They want him to play for a team in the playoffs. They want him to play in January and February, which that's all good. But if you want to do that, quit taking more money every 2 years and let it go to a quarterback not named Geno. There's ways to do that, right? Don't play 100% of the snaps. Don't get injured and have to miss half a season, or play injured the whole season and have to have 1 or 2 surgeries after. There's reasons to do that. There's ways to do that. But appreciate you, my guy. So from what I'm hearing, and there's been lots of reports, right? It came out months ago. DJ Moore, Maxx Crosby, a first and a second. It's looking like that could possibly, maybe be the best trade offer they're going to get. We know Vrabel. We know how he feels about the Patriots. They have Caleb Von Chasen, who is a free agent. They have money, right? Then you have the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. Could A.J. Brown possibly be in a trade talk with Crosby for maybe, I don't know. Would it be head up? Would it be AJ Brown in a second for Crosby? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, there's lots of talks, lots of rumors. Patriots, Bears, Eagles. Eagles make sense. They have a free agent that is due somewhere between 20 to $27 million. That is the asking market price. Maxx Crosby, a top 10 defensive end in the NFL, is only getting 36 this year or 32? Yeah, this is his final year, so I think it's 36. $36 million. Now, are you going to pay a guy $27 million in who is it? Jalen Rand? No, not. Anyways, are you going to pay a guy, a defensive end, whose best year was, I do believe, 8 sacks, $27 million when you have a chance to trade for a guy like Maxx Crosby? If I'm the Eagles. And then when you look at the Eagles, you also have to take in account the Eagles general manager, Spytek, our general manager, right? They've done trades before already. Booker for my guy Jacorian Bennett, right? There's been plenty of trades already done, or at least one trade done. So they've had talks. You know, if Maxx Crosby wants to go to a contender, the Eagles with Maxx Crosby are definitely a contender. They have a new offensive coordinator. You have to figure that out, but they're definitely up there. The Patriots just came out of a Super Bowl. We know Vrabel, would love to have Maxx Crosby. They also have Josh McDaniels in the building who could say yay or nay on Maxx Crosby, right? Like, yes, this is the guy. We need to bring him in. He's worth every penny. Give him the 2 first rounds and a pick, right? There's that aspect. But my bottom line is I feel like the Las Vegas Raiders are going to stick to their guns at 2 first and a top 100 player. Now, that's a lot. And I don't see teams meeting that. So, as much as we've talked about Maxx Crosby, as much as people, want to throw up in their mouth hearing the Maxx Crosby shit over and over and over and over again, I'm going to come to my same conclusion I've been telling y'all for the last, 2 games into the season, when they benched him with 2 games left into the season. I don't believe Maxx Crosby is a Raider for long, but I feel like he's a Raider this year. I feel like this year, next year, teams out there in the NFL, listen to me. Next year, bro, next year. He has no guaranteed money. You come in, you take him then, deal done, problem solved, right? No issues, no problems, nothing to worry about. Max is happy, he goes to his team. I think that's the best scenario. So I believe he's here for 1 more year, if not for life, which I don't see for life being a thing anymore. If the problem really is Tom Brady and Alex Guerrero, I don't know how you can fix that, except for the fact that Tom Brady is not in the building, right? So if Maxx Crosby is really to the point where he doesn't want to be a Raider because of Tom Brady, I think that's kind of petty because you're not going to see Brady, but Brady still is making a lot of decisions and is talked to on the daily. So we need a first next year and a third. After seeing the Rams gave the Chiefs, it can be done. I'm not against that. 100. If you want to give 2 firsts for Maxx Crosby, I'm taking that. I've said this before. If you want to give 2 firsts, if you're the Jets and the Cardinals for Fernando Mendoza, I would take that. I feel moving down a spot or 2 and getting another pick. It's come on, man. If you're building and it's a true rebuild, do it the right way. Do it the right way. You take your highest paid player, like Gruden did, Khalil Mack, right? You move him. Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper. You bring in guys that can still get the job done, but you're not paying, that much money. And then, shit, when it's time to pay them more money after their, 2-year contract or 3-year contract is up, if they're worth it, then you pay them. If not, then you move on. It's football. That's the way it goes. So, um, I feel like with that asking price, there's only maybe from the 21 teams that blew up Jay Glazer's phone since he made that comment, like he said, I believe those 21 teams shrink down to maybe 4 or 5. And those 4 or 5 are going to have to do a lot of research and a lot of decision making before they just give up 2 first rounds and a player. I think that is way too much for Maxx Crosby, if I'm being honest. As a Raider fan, as a Maxx Crosby fan, 29 years old, averages 9 sacks a season, $30+ million. I just don't see how you pay that money or that capital and then still have to pay a guy probably $40 million because he's going to want to be in the top 5 defensive edge. And you got Myles Garrett, who just got, the highest paid non-quarterback player. And then you have Will Anderson, who is, if he hasn't already, projected to make $45 million a season. So for the Raiders, and if you look at that aspect of it, like, damn, okay, we just paid him $30 million for what? 3/4 of a season the year before. You paid him $32 million this year. You're going to pay him, 36 this upcoming year. Just makes sense. It just makes sense. What else we got? Shout out for the $2 highlight. Appreciate you showing love. She might have. Take the 3 first. Trade him, rebuild. At this point, it's pretty much there. I mean, 100% agree with you on Crosby. I do too, man. You can't tell me that a guy with 6 surgeries, 29 years old, that really demands, I'm going to say this, demands to play every single down. Are teams really willing to deal with that? Are you really willing to have a guy in your locker room that's going to go against the grain, that's going to be a rebel, and that's going to show the other players in the building that you don't have to listen to the head coaches? Like, you're just going to put yourself in the game. They're not going to take you out because if they send some player to try to sub you out, you're just going to shove them back, like make somebody else leave. Like, I mean, that's a problem, dude. That's a problem. And I feel like somebody that is that motivated to, to be the best, is focused on winning championships, is focused on being the best in the world. You have too many focuses, man. Too many focuses. Focus on playing football. How about this? Focus on the dude holding the ball, and that should be it. That should be the only thing you have to worry about. Focus on that quarterback and hitting him, turning the ball over, getting those stops, tackles for loss. That should be the only focus, man, for at least 17 weeks, right? In the offseason, I don't care. But during the season, man, your only focus should not be being the greatest. It should not be winning championships. Yes, that everybody wants to win a championship, but when you're focused on it and that's all you think about, sometimes that might hold people back. It might hold people back. Kanye says she has 140 IQ. I don't know. Seems like a foregone conclusion. Homeboy, Max is jihadi. So, and and I don't want to just keep beating on this shit for, it's already been 30 minutes, but it seems to me like if I'm Maxx Crosby, I'm heartbroken that so many fans are believing this shit if it's bullshit, right? But then you also, as a fan, You're looking at, bro, I bought your jerseys, right? I don't know how many different colors or whatever people got, how many different Crosby's jerseys they got, how many games you've been to just because of Maxx Crosby, right? Some people are fans just because of Maxx Crosby, became Raider fans for that sole simple reason, especially a lot of young kids. So why? Why not just say, yes, I want to be a Raider? He can't. He can't. He can't. He can't. And I feel like if you do want to be pissed off at Crosby for you know what's going on, I don't think you should. Because let me tell you this. I'm gonna put it this way: Maxx Crosby could easily, very easily, come out like everybody wants him to do and say, "I don't want to be a Raider." But guess what that does for the Raiders trying to trade Maxx Crosby? Those two first rounds they're asking and a player, you ain't getting that. When you know Maxx Crosby wants out and are disgruntled, and this is the NFL, I know there's there's sorry ass people that are willing to run around and divulge information that they shouldn't, that they should keep quiet when they're asked to keep quiet. They still want to put it out there, right? Like I said, I got a little birdie in my ear, but I will never ever say anything that I'm not supposed to say, that I'm asked not to say, right? That's just shady, bro. You got to have integrity. But there are people that will go that extra mile to be that guy, right? To be seen, to be in the limelight. And it's a horrible, horrible age we live in. But again, when you have a player, sorry, I was trying not to burp one. When you have a player, right, that has said, and this is just rumors, right? Somebody has come out and said Maxx Crosby will play for the Raiders no matter what, right? He's under contract. He will play for the Raiders. But he would be happier to go play somewhere that he wants to be. Now, I don't know if that's a Maxx Crosby quote, but that is what somebody has said that's supposed to be an insider that has info, right? That, and again, we've heard Maxx Crosby say, you know, if it doesn't come from my mouth, don't believe it. I said this the other day too. I feel like Maxx Crosby is at that point. Oh, like I was going to say, don't be pissed off at Maxx Crosby, because Maxx Crosby could easily come out and say, look, I don't want to play for the Raiders. And then the Raiders aren't going to get nothing for him, right? You'd be lucky to get a first round pick. We traded Devontae Adams, a first and a second to get Devontae. We got a third 2 years later to get rid of him because of the problems in the building. So I respect the shit out of Maxx Crosby if he does not want to be here for not saying it, because it would hurt this franchise. And that just shows to me his love for this organization, his love for the fans, his love for the silver and black, by not being the guy everybody wants him to be and coming out and saying, I want out. I don't want to be here. So again, shit, tip my hat to Maxx Crosby. Shout out to that, because he could easily be that dude, right? Easily be that dude, like Jacoby Myers did, and say, bro, there's no fixing it. Just let me go. Just let me go, please. Please let me out, please. And we end up giving up getting a fourth and a second. I mean, a fourth and a sixth for Jacoby. Bad business, bad business, bad business. And we can't continue to keep doing like that. And then again, after all this is coming out, knowing how the fans, you know, I'm sure he doesn't get in X or whatever, but I'm sure there's people calling him saying, hey, did you see this or did you hear this, right? You know the situation. You know half the fans are already pissed off about the situation and they just want it to be over. But a lot of them have already turned on him. A lot of fans are like, get him out of here, you know, trade him for a first round. If he doesn't want to be here, just go. Like Maxx Crosby is saying this shit. And I think that's jacked up for fans to, you know, like I said, I have my reasons why I've always said I wouldn't be pissed off if Max was traded. And those reasons are simple. His age, we're not winning with him. He's the highest paid player on the team, and he has been for as long as I can remember. Except Devontae. Was Devontae making more than him? So, you know, it hasn't worked out for the Browns having Myles Garrett their highest paid player on the team. And sometimes when you have that, it just you don't have the assets to build around, to build a team around them. And the Raiders have failed year in and year out trying to get an offense to work, to just tighten up the defense, and maybe our offense would be better, right? If our defense could just stay on the field a little bit longer, or stay off not stay on the field so much, get off the field a little quicker, I think it would be a big, big difference, right? We talk about Super Bowls. How many teams have won Super Bowls that didn't have a top 15 defense? In the last 25 years? Two. I think only two that didn't have a top 25, top 15 defense, right? Out of those 25. And even back farther, right? I just asked 25 years, but you can go all the way back to the beginning of football. Every team that won a Super Bowl had a top 10 or 15 defense. I mean, shit, even the greatest show on turf with Kurt Warner and the Rams. Wait, was it the Rams? Cardinals? What the fuck did I say? Right? Anyways, even Kurt Warner, man, they had a defense. They stopped teams. They put up a lot of points, but they still stopped teams. So you got to have a defense. And if you draft a quarterback like Mendoza, he's used to last year having a defense that if they had to punt, they got the ball back in 3 plays, right? They weren't worried about it. The defense went out, did their job, and Mendoza's back on the field. So that's how I feel, man. Get into some of these chats. Not too many chats. Cool. I didn't have to go too far. What do you call the reverse exorcism when the demon tells you, please get out of chat? What? What kind of joke is that, bro? Nice setup. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. So yeah, let's get into this. My guy Jim Rome. If you don't like Jim Rome, damn, you crazy, bro. The dude is funny as hell. He gets so livid, yelling and screaming. Sometimes his takes are, outlandish and off the wall. But he tells it like it is. And that's why I like Jim Rome. He doesn't mess around, bro. He doesn't mess around. And he reported, wait, where's it at? So he's saying Tom Brady has the best job ever, and he does the worst job ever. Right? And Jim Rome is 100,000 million billion % correct. I mean, you let the car walk out of the building. You didn't get nothing for a top 15 player. You let Josh Jacobs, and I know people are going to say Tom Brady wasn't involved in that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree at all. I think Tom Brady has been in Mark Davis's ear since he stopped playing for Tampa Bay. He was in his ear even before that. They were talking, they've been co-owners of the Aces. They talk an awful lot. And I'm sure a lot of it is about football because Mark Davis is trying to make this team better, believe it or not. So, I got Taylor Green. But yeah, I believe that the things that Tom Brady has done so far, I just really wish he would just stay away. Spytek has had a decent draft. Spytek seems to, in my opinion, know how to operate a football team and run a football team. Look, he says the smartest things. When asked questions about Maxx Crosby, he said what he had to say. And then, the direct question, he said, look, I'm not going to talk about some things. Some things we're going to keep in-house. And that was a time that I was like, oh shit. If there's things you got to keep in house and your general manager aren't saying, that's a big red flag. That's a huge red flag. But the way he goes about it, the way Spytek has said, is Crosby untouchable? Maxx Crosby is a great player. He's a player I want in the building. It's up to Maxx Crosby whether he wants to be here, right? Best answer you could ever get. So I feel like we're in the right direction, man. We're in the right direction. Whether it has, whether it's Crosby with us or Crosby not with us, I think this is not the time, and I think he's going to regret this. Now, you could say that whatever we get in draft picks in return, if we do turn this around really, really quick, you could say they helped, or you could say that trading Crosby helped, right? And either way, if the Raiders do turn it around really quick after he's gone, that's not going to look good on his resume, in my opinion. Raiders are bums like you. I bummed your mom last night, clown. Fuck out of my chat. Lay off your dookie. Your mom's dookie, bro. Get out of here. Where's my mods at? I got no mods. This clown out of here. Peace. So yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's get into this little Maki draft. And just see what this team could possibly look like. Oh shit, what am I in? Wait. No wait. What team's gonna PFF? Mock draft. I thought I already had this set up. Guess I do not. All right, man. So, can we trade players on this one? I forgot. Does anybody know? Can we trade players on Mock Drafts on PFF? Well, I do not believe we can. I think we have to go to PSFN. Okay, we got Raiders. Let's just go 4 rounds. That's most of our picks. I think we'll get the most picks out of there. Let's go to PFF. Your solo. Pull this shit back up. All right, so here's what we got. We got a failure to communicate. That's not big enough. Okay, this ain't gonna work like that. This ain't gonna work like that. It's not gonna work like that. Why can't I change it? All right, let's go like that. I think that'll work. All right, so already offered. They don't have nothing. I don't even know why they're offering. The Colts think they can get a first round pick for 47, 78, 113, a second and a third next year. Yeah, let's not do that. Reject. The Browns 6, 24, 39 and a first next year and 70. That's not legit. I don't think they would ever do that. Let's reject. Let's reject. Let's reject. Let's reject. Let's reject. I can't do players on here. It's the other one. Damn it. Man. Why y'all do this to me? All right, it's the other one. It's the other one, of course. if you can't see the mock draft, you're live on this. Pop over to the other side. I hope the Raiders will make a good decision. Nice. Yeah, I think they will too, man. I think they will too. Would you consider families of people who should consider what? Should consider families that made a loss. Consider them in what? It's not the Twin Towers, bro. Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. What are you talking about? Look, it's not Twin Towers, bro. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Anyways, people are nuts. But yeah, man. Hop over to the other one. We're gonna do a mock draft. Love y'all. Peace.